What will happen to the Belfast attacker inside of prison? Now, I'm sure the majority of you will have seen the video circulating about the attack that happened on Monday night in Belfast, when Stephen Ogilvie, innocent member of the public, at 10:30 at night, was attacked by a Sudanese migrant, Hadi Alodid. Now, this was an extremely shocking attack, something that has rocked the nation. There has been some severe protesting and rioting, looting going on inside of Belfast. But I will get back to that in a bit. But the purpose of this video is what will happen to this Sudanese migrant who has been remanded into custody. Now, he has been remanded into HMP Magbury in Northern Ireland. It is the only prison in Northern Ireland that could facilitate and keep a hold of this dangerous offender who has been charged with the attempted murder of poor Stephen. Now, Stephen Ogilvie has autism and he has learning difficulties, and he is in a very bad way inside of hospital. One of my subscribers and one of my long-time friends from over Ireland has actually sent me a photo, which I am not going to show on here because it is too graphic, of Stephen lying in a hospital bed, and his injuries are absolutely horrific. I don't even believe these will be shown in the press because they are so brutal and gruesome. And poor Stephen has lost an eye and his other eye is severely damaged. He has slash marks and everything all over his face and head where Hadi Alodid, the Sudanese migrant, attempted to decapitate him in the middle of a street. Luckily, those bystanders didn't just stand there. They intervened and they managed to stop what would have been a murder. Even when they were attacking him or trying to get him off, poor Stephen, he wasn't giving up. And the coppers even got on the scene and had to intervene and get that horrible piece of dirt off poor Stephen. So, HMP Magbury. I will tell you a little bit about Magbury. HMP Magbury is located near Lisbon, Northern Ireland, primarily housing adult male long-term sentenced and remand prisoners like this wrong'un. That's what I'm going to refer to him as for the rest of the video, the wrong'un, because he's an absolute wrong'un for what he done. But that wrong'un is on remand inside of that prison, and he will be straight down the segregation unit. They will not be taking their chances with him. Plus, when he was taken to hospital afterwards because he had a wound on his hand, on his wrist, and when he was in hospital, he's also been charged with threatening to kill the staff, the nurses that were there to help treat him. He was threatening them, saying all sorts of different ludicrous comments that he was going to take their lives if he could. So he's been charged with that as well, threats to kill. And that absolute wrong, and like I've just said, has went to hospital to get the care from the staff, and he's reacted in that manner. He is now straight down the segregation unit for his own safety and obviously for the safety of others and the safeties of the staff, because this wrong'un is on a mission. He's trying to take someone's life in the street, and then luckily, he's handcuffed in the hospital because he would have went on to inflict further violence on the members of staff that were there to help him. So Stephen is 40-year-old, and this Sudanese migrant, 30-year-old Sudanese national with refugee status, was obviously apprehended at the scene, but he went into Northern Ireland from Dublin, and he had refugee status until 2028. So whatever the motive is for this attack at the moment, there is no clear motive. They said they have ruled out terrorism because that's what they thought it might have been at first, and they've ruled out a hate crime. So I will keep you updated, and I would like to hear myself what this was all about. If it wasn't some sick ideology, something to do with terrorism or hate crime, then exactly what was it? Poor defenseless Stephen, like I've said earlier in the video, with autism and learning difficulties, being attacked so viciously in the street. He already has bad sight. His sight is already impaired. Now he's lost an eye. So inside of HMP Magbury, they'll have put him on protection in solitary confinement. But they do have other units inside of HMP Magbury, and they have VPUs, the same obviously in England. VP wings, the bacon wings, the wronging wings. So there's the VP wings. They've obviously got the normal wings, the VP wings, and they have care and supervision units, safer cells for prisoners whose safety is threatened by their own severe mental health issues, vulnerabilities, or acute risks of self-harm. So the care and supervision units, highly monitored environment offering elevated staff to prisoner ratios for vulnerable or disruptive individuals. But this absolute wronging, like I've just said, will be in the segregation units because the Northern Irish lads will be after his blood, even on the VP wings, because on the VP wings, there is a lot of deadheads, lads that have getting addictions inside of prison. They've getting addictions that they can't afford. They've ran up massive bills. They're going to be attacked themselves. So what do? They go onto the bacon wings, the wronging wings. And then they become a wronging themselves because the majority of the time they have to give info to get put down there. But even these that are down there might try and do some retribution to try and wrong their rights inside of prison. There could be, or there is, notes get passed backwards and forwards, and even notes get passed by the screws and saying, listen, you'll be fine, your debt will be written off if you get a hold of him, give him some prison justice, give him exactly what he deserves, and you'll be fine to come back on the wings, your debt will be written off, and you'll be looked after. So that's exactly what could happen. But even, like I've said, a lot of the wrong'uns that are on them wings will be out for blood when they say him. But he'll be knowing this as well. And there was something said about his mental health. Mental health straight away. Never fucking mind your mental health. There's loads of people suffer with mental health that don't go in the middle of the street and try and decapitate someone when you're in a foreign country as well. A country that isn't your homeland. You're in someone else's country and you try to behead the countrymen. What the actual is going on with cases like this? Absolutely, yes, they're deluded, but they've got a deluded ideology before they even enter other countries, other shores. Obviously, this one, I don't know exactly how he got into Ireland. Initially, the Republic of Ireland, but he went from Dublin, crossed the border into Belfast, and then given immigration status by the UK government. The governments, in my opinion, are to blame for this absolute chaos what is going on with all these different attacks by letting illegal migrants in and letting unchecked and unvetted lunatics into these countries, the UK, Ireland, European countries. But the UK government is to blame for these atrocities. The UK government should be chucked inside of a prison themselves, and then they will be extremely protected, because prison justice would be after them more than they actually know. So inside the prison, if he did go onto a normal location, which he won't, even on the VP wings, napalm, boiling hot water with sugar, honey, anything that will stick to the skin, these type of inmates have thrown over them. In the high security estates, I'm not sure exactly about Magbury, but some of the units, some of the wings, you can cook your own food. You used to be able to buy oil on the canteen. Or if not, the lads smuggle it out of the kitchens, the ones that work in the kitchens. They smuggle the oil out, they cook the oil up or boil the oil up, and the boil is used as a napalm. And that oil leaves some horrific injuries, and that's what's used on these type of wrong-uns, these dirty pieces of work. When they get prison justice, that's exactly what gets chucked on them. But this wrong-un, prison justice will be after him, and the lads that want to inflict prison justice on him will be wanting to leave just as many scars on him as what poor Stephen has all over his face and head. Like I said, I've seen the photo, and when he's lying in the hospital bed, and the injuries are absolutely horrendous, horrific, something that shouldn't have happened. But like I've said, a lot of prisoners will be wanting to do exactly the same to this absolute wrong'un. And the unrest that has come afterwards, there is absolutely havoc and mayhem going on across the whole of Northern Ireland. You don't need me to tell you, because you'll have seen exactly what has been going on, because it is all over the news. And obviously, as usual, Keir Starmer has popped his head up and said the full force of the law will be used against these types of individuals. Why aren't you coming on and saying the full force of the law will be used on the types of individuals that enter the UK shores illegally, or even if he has getting in legitimately, which he hasn't, because he's crossed the borders and they don't know where he came from beforehand. He got immigration status when he landed there. Those absolute wrong-uns that are inflicting these types of atrocities on innocent members of the public, well, they get everything that comes to them inside of prison when prison justice is dished out. But I did want to bring you that because obviously, like I've mentioned, a lot of my subscribers and viewers are from Ireland and Northern Ireland. Hit us up in the comment section, people, all my Irish subscribers and viewers from Ireland and Northern Ireland. Leave an Irish flag, or leave, obviously, a comment if you're from Northern Ireland, because like I've just said, a lot of my subscribers are from these areas and they do watch me channel for insights and updates, and unfortunately had to bring an update about something an atrocity so disgusting like this, which shouldn't have happened. But I will keep you updated on what actually goes on. And if anybody else has any inside info on Magbury Prison, where he will be placed, what will be happening, and I will do an updated version on this topic on this channel, people. So do keep watching, people. Hopefully you are enjoying the content still. And if you are, remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Take care, everyone. But most importantly, watch what you're doing, watch your backs, and stay safe.